Introduction to Namma Karnataka. In this essay, we will have an overall view of Namma Karnataka. It is a cursory look but significant for describing and remembering the basic aspects of Karnataka. This article and many other articles have been based on the Karnataka Handbook of the Government of Karnataka. We acknowledge with thanks the rich and authentic content of the handbook. Karnataka has a rich heritage, inspiring its people to create a bright future. The state has special geographical locations full of variety. Its hills, its rivers, valleys, plains, forests and resources. All these make the state known for its tourist and industrial potential. Its long history of over 2000 years has left many beautiful forts, tanks, temples, mosques and towns of historical importance to the posterity. These old towns have grown now to be industrial, commercial and educational centers. The towns have a modern look and all modern facilities are available. Bordered by the Western Ghats with tall peaks and lush greenery in the west, the tableland is fertile because of its black soil and river and tank irrigation facilities. The coastal strip of the west of the Ghats is renowned for its silvery beaches and rich green paddy fields. Karnataka has a rich religious and artistic tradition. The land has been adored many poets, and many inscriptions are found on stones recorded from 15th century onwards. There are innumerable temples of antiquity which represent religious and the spiritual pursuits of the people. The agraharas and mathas are spread all over the state. They speak of the scholarly pursuits to which people were attached. The hero stones strewing the land speak of the heroic traits of the warrior race of antiquity. Long traditions of growing cotton are clear evidence to the once flourishing rich textile industry. The ports along the coast remind one of the rich overseas trades that flourish through them. The state's human resources with racial and religious varieties and professional skills promise to make it a hub of industriousness then and even now. Karnataka also has been home to some of the most powerful empires of ancient and medieval India. The philosophers and musical bards were patronized by these empires. They launched socio-religious and literary movements, which have endured to the present day. Karnataka has contributed significantly to both forms of Indian classical music, the Carnatic, that is Karnataka music, and Hindustani traditions. Even in the modern days, the traditional inheritance has continued. Writers in the Kannada language have received the most number of Jnanapith awards, totaling 8 in India. Bengaluru is the capital city of the state and is at the forefront of the rapid economic and technological development that India is experiencing. Karnataka's prehistory goes back to a Paleolithic hand-axe culture. Evidence of Neolithic and megalithic cultures have also been found in the state. Gold discovered in Harappa was found to be imported from the mines in Karnataka, prompting scholars to hypothesize about contacts between ancient Karnataka and the Indus Valley civilization. Prior to the 3rd century BC, most of Karnataka formed part of the Nanda Empire before coming under the Mauryan Empire of Emperor Ashoka. 4 centuries of Satavahana rule followed. It allowed them to control large areas of Karnataka. The decline of the Satavahana power led to the rise of the earliest native kingdoms, the Kadambas and the Western Gangas. This marked the region's emergence as an independent political entity. The Kadamba dynasty, founded by Mayura Sharma, had its capital at Banavasi. The Western Ganga dynasty was formed with Talakad as its capital. These were also the first kingdoms to use Kannada in administration. These are evidenced by the Halmedi inscription and a 5th century copper coin discovered at Banavasi. These dynasties were followed by imperial Kannada empires such as Badami Chalukyas, the Rashtrakuta Empire of Manyakheta, and the Western Chalukya Empire, which ruled over large parts of the Deccan and had their capitals in what is now Karnataka. The Western Chalukyas patronized a unique style of architecture and Kannada literature, which became a precursor to the Hoysala art of the 12th century. Parts of modern-day southern Karnataka, that is Gangavadi, were occupied by the Chola Empire at the turn of the 11th century. The Cholas and the Hoysalas fought over the region in the 12th century before it eventually came under Hoysala rule. At the turn of the first millennium, the Hoysalas gained power in the region. Literature flourished during this time, which led to the distinctive Kannada literary meters and the construction of temples and sculptures adhering to the Vesara style of architecture. The expansion of the Hoysala Empire brought minor parts of modern Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu under its rule. In the early 14th century, Harihara and Bukkaraya established the Vijayanagara Empire with its capital Hosapattana, later named as Vijayanagara, on the banks of the Tungabhadra river in the modern Bellary district. The empire rose as a defensive wall against Muslim advances into South India, which it had completely controlled for over 2 centuries. In 1565, Karnataka and the rest of South India experienced a major geopolitical shift when the Vijayanagara Empire fell to a confederation of Islamic sultanates in the Battle of Talikota. The Vijayapura Sultanate, which had risen after the demise of the Bahamani Sultanate of Bidar, soon took control of the Deccan. Later, it was defeated by the Mughals in the late 17th century. The Bahamani and Vijayapura rulers encouraged Urdu and Persian literature and Indo-Saracenic architecture, the Gol Gumbaz being one of the high points of this style. During the 16th century, Konkani Hindus migrated to Karnataka, mostly from Salsette in Goa, and while during the 17th and 18th century, Goan Catholics migrated to Dakshina Kannada, especially from Bardes in Goa. It was because of food shortages, epidemics and heavy taxation imposed by the Portuguese. In the period that followed, parts of the northern Karnataka were ruled by the Nizam of Hyderabad, the British and other powers. In the south, the Mysuru Kingdom, former feudal loyalist of the Vijayanagara Empire, was briefly independent. With the death of Krishna Raja Wadiyar II, Hyder Ali, the commander-in-chief of the Mysuru army, gained control of the region. After his death, the kingdom was inherited by his son Tipu Sultan. To contain European expansion in South India, Hyder Ali and later Tipu Sultan fought 4 significant Anglo-Mysuru wars. But the last battle resulted in Tipu Sultan's death and the incorporation of Mysuru into the British Raj in 1799. The kingdom of Mysuru was restored to the Wadiyars and Mysuru remained a princely state under the British Raj. As the doctrine of lapse gave way to dissent and resistance from princely states across the country, Kittur Chennamma, Sangolli Rayana and others spearheaded rebellions in Karnataka in 1830. Other uprisings followed, such as the ones at Supa, Bagalkot, Shorapur, Nargund and Dandeli. These rebellions coincided with the 1857 War of Independence and were led by Mundargi Bhimarao, Bhaskarrao Bhave, the Halagali Bedas, Raja Venkatappa Nayaka and others. By the late 19th century, the freedom movement had gained momentum. Karnad Sadashiva Rao, Alluru Venkata Raya, S. Nijalingappa, Kengal Henumantaya, Nittur Srinivasa Rao and others carried on the struggle into the early 20th century. After India's independence, the Maharaja Jayachamrajandra Wadiyar allowed his kingdom's accession to India. In 1950, Mysuru became an Indian state of the same name. The former Maharaja served as its Raj Pramukh, that is head of state, until 1975. Following the long-standing demand of the Ekikarana movement, Kodagu and Kannada-speaking regions from the adjoining states of Madras, Hyderabad and Bombay were incorporated into the Mysuru state under the States Reorganization Act of 1956. The expanded state was renamed Karnataka in 1973. In the early 1900s, through the post-independence era, industrial visionaries such as Sir M. Vishveshwaraya played an important role in the development of Karnataka's strong manufacturing and industrial base. Karnataka is the manufacturing hub for some of the largest public sector industries in India. Many of India's premier science and technology research centers are also headquartered in Karnataka. Mangaluru Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited is an oil refinery located in Mangaluru. Since the 1980s, Karnataka has emerged as the leader in the field of information technology. The IT and electronics sector are the largest contributors. Their share in the state exports in the year 2012 was 60% and still continue to account for the largest share. These two sectors constitute almost 38% of India's total exports. Many of them, including two of India's biggest software firms, Infosys and Wipro, are also headquartered in the state. Exports from these firms exceeded 1.56 lakh crores in 2012, accounting for nearly 38% of all IT exports from India. All this has earned the state capital Bengaluru, the sobriquet as Silicon Valley of India. Karnataka also leads the nation in biotechnology. It is home to India's largest biocluster, with 158 of the country's 320 biotechnology firms being based here. The state accounts for 75% of India's floriculture, an upcoming industry which supplies flowers and ornamental plants worldwide. Seven of India's leading banks, Canara Bank, Syndicate Bank, Corporation Bank, Vijaya Bank, Karnataka Bank, Vaisya Bank, and the State Bank of Mysuru originated in this state. A majority of the silk industry in India is also headquartered in Karnataka state. Air transport in Karnataka, as in the rest of the country, is a fast expanding sector. Karnataka has airports at Bengaluru, Mangaluru, Hubballi, Belagavi, Hampi, Bellary, and Mysuru, with international operations from Bengaluru and Mangaluru airports. Karnataka has a railway network with a total length of approximately 3,000 kilometers. The southwestern zone is headquartered at Hubballi in 2003. Coastal Karnataka is covered under the Konkan Railway Network, which was considered India's biggest railway project of the century. Bengaluru is extensively connected with interstate destinations, while other important cities and towns in the state are not so well connected. Karnataka has 11 ports, including the new Mangaluru port, a major port, and 10 other minor ports. The new Mangaluru port was incorporated as the 9th major port in India in May 1974. This port handled around 32 million tons of traffic in the fiscal year of 2006, with around 17 million tons of imports and around 14 million tons of exports. The port also handled around 1,000 vessels, including 18 cruise vessels during the year 2006. The inland water transport within the state, however, is not well developed. The total length of national highways and state highways in Karnataka are around 3,900 kilometers and around 9,800 kilometers respectively. The KSRTC, which is the State Public Transport Corporation, transports on an average of 2.2 million passengers daily and employs about 25,000 people. In the late 90s, KSRTC was split into three corporations, which are the Bengaluru Metropolitan Transport Corporation, the Northwest Karnataka Road Transport Corporation, and the Northeast Karnataka Road Transport Corporation, with their headquarters in Bengaluru, Hubballi, and Kalaburgi respectively. The diverse linguistic and religious ethnicities combined with their long histories have contributed immensely to the varied cultural heritage of the state. Apart from Kannadigas, Karnataka is home to Tuluvas, Kodavas, and Konkanis. Minor populations of Tibetan Buddhists and tribes like the Soligas, Yeravas, Todas, and Siddhis also live in Karnataka. The traditional folk arts cover the entire gamut of music, dance, drama, storytelling by itinerant troupes, etc. Yakshagana of Malnad and coastal Karnataka, which is a classical dance drama, is one of the major theatrical forms of Karnataka. Contemporary theatre culture in Karnataka remains vibrant, with organizations like Ninasam, Rangashankara, Rangayana, and Prabhat Kalavidaru continuing to build on the foundations laid by Gubbi Veeranna, T.P. Kailasam, B.V. Karanth, K.V. Subbanna, Prasanna, and others. Veeragase, Kamsale, Kolata, and Dollu Kunita are popular dance forms. The Mysuru style of Bharatanatyam, nurtured and popularized by the likes of the legendary Jatti Tayyamma, continues to be popular in Karnataka, and Bengaluru also enjoys an eminent place as one of the foremost centers of Bharatanatyam.